The basement.
The basement.
No!
The basement.
Oh, the basement.
Final on that.
The basement.
Oh boy.
No!
Oh boy.
Am I dead?
The basement.
But nobody ever says that.
The basement.
The basement.
Wait.
The basement.
Hey everyone, I'm Stan.
I'm Guy.
And we're with The Basement. And today we're giving you the August Wrestling Roundtable. August, kind of an exciting month. We're going to start off talking about SummerSlam, and then probably in another video we'll have a little bit of talk just about some of the other stuff that's going on. For those of you that have missed previous roundtables, they're up on the page with this video. In addition, last month we put in an extras video because of all the stuff that was going on. So we won't be talking a whole lot about the draft. We won't be talking about the July pay-per-view with pretty much exclusively newer events. It's August 6th, so we don't have a complete SummerSlam card. We're going to try to cover as much as we can and maybe offer just some thoughts on where we think the card may expand in the future. So, moving forward, I am going to try to go through this list in the order of importance to us. And to start off with, I guess the first thing I'm going to say is this is the first WWE pay-per-view in quite a while that I'm actually very interested in seeing. The card overall, so far, looks very strong. So for starters, we're going to start, as we always do, with the women's title match, Sasha Banks versus Charlotte, because we have a tendency to not watch a whole lot of women's wrestling. Not saying that the performers aren't good, I just find WWE to market it poorly or present it poorly.
Yeah.
A lot of times it looks really staged, and it's just kind of boring to me. So, fast forward, that's what I do a lot.
I try to catch the ending of the match if it's decent. If it's just like, I don't know, Becky Lynch versus Eva Marie, then I don't care at all. But
Right.
if it's something like Sasha Banks versus Charlotte for the title, I'll, fast forward through the match, but then I'll catch the ending and be like, oh, okay, well, at least I know what happened and how it happened. But
Yeah. Ultimately, with the SummerSlam match here, this will probably be my opportunity to sneak out and smoke a cigarette, to be fair. But it could be a really good match. They're both really good performers, and it could be good. Unfortunately, will I put in the effort to see it? That's what remains to be to be seen.
yeah.
We'll see. If Yoda is here, Yoda, if you're out there, if you watch these, we're missing you. You're not in chair number 3. That's why the camera's pointed over here. If you're out there, I know that you love women's wrestling, and if you show up for SummerSlam, then we'll watch it, because I know that's kind of your thing. But do you have anything else to say about that match? Predict a winner.
Well, I heard that Charlotte is going to do other stuff, like outside of WWE, possibly like, I don't know, acting or something. I don't know.
Okay.
But I heard that's why she dropped the belt on Raw.
Sure.
So, I'll go Sasha Banks.
I agree. I think Sasha Banks retains. And we'll, it'll be what it'll be. Moving forward, I'm going to move to the next match that is for sure, it's happening, that I think is in order of importance, not necessarily importance, but in order of how I see it being important to the company, that being the Intercontinental title match. Apollo Crews, or Apollo Creed, if you watch SmackDown.
Yes, the live botching.
Versus The Miz. Opinions on this match?
It is what it is. It's either a way to push Apollo Crews like further and build him up better, or it's a way to kind of get him into the mix and have The Miz retain and just kind of say, hold the title a little bit longer for credibility for SmackDown. But I don't know.
My opinion is I think that this match, it could be a very interesting match. Both guys very talented. I really do think that, I mean, my opinion of the result of the match, I think The Miz retains. I think this is a way of bringing Apollo Crews into that picture and seeing how he does under the, a little bit more of a spotlight.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, I think Apollo Crews, very talented, but he needs to develop more.
Yeah.
And I think that this is kind of an opportunity for the WWE to see how he performs under the spotlight, so to speak.
It'll be different for him wrestling The Miz, too, because he's a high-flying, athletic, big dude.
Yep.
And The Miz really isn't too high-flying, so
No.
it'll be interesting to see how he handles it.
I think it'll be an enjoyable match. I personally do. I really do. I like The Miz. There was a big chunk of time when I first got back into WWE a couple of years ago where I just loved The Miz. Like, he was my favorite wrestler on the roster. And not that it's changed that much. I still like The Miz. He's a great heel. And I think that this is what they're going to use as their opportunity to try Apollo Crews in a role of that importance and allow him to grow a little bit. And at the same time, have a good match, because I think they can have a good match.
Yeah.
And just move forward from there, and we'll go back to seeing whether it be Cesaro Miz or whoever it might be that's going to be in a program with The Miz. I'm not sure who it's going to be, but I think that this is just kind of a filler match, and I think it can be interesting and exciting, and it kind of showcases, once again, that a lot of what's going on this card is the new era.
Mm.
And you got a young guy who's there, who's pretty fresh out of NXT, and he's at that upper echelon already, and I'm hoping that's what we're going to continue to see moving forward. So I'm very hopeful that it'll be a good match.
Yeah, and if you're picking a belt to have him, start out on the IC belt's pretty good.
Well, it's because he's on SmackDown. That's
It's
where you
the
gotta
only
go.
one of two titles that they have.
Yeah.
So
It's, I mean, U.S. title arguably could be, but with that on Rusev on Raw, I understand where you're going with it. And I think that as long as this match is good, if it's a well done match, it continues to build credibility for that title.
it'll be good to see him in a different role too, because his feud with Sheamus wasn't all that great.
No.
So it'll be good to see how he does with a different feud.
I think
a different storyline.
Well, I think with The Miz, a feud with The Miz allows him a little bit more flexibility, a little bit more of an option to show off what he can do.
Yeah, it's not about I'm just gonna attack you backstage.
Yeah.
And beat you up.
Sheamus, don't get me wrong, I think that Sheamus definitely has some really positive qualities about him, but overall, he lacks the moveset. He's not really as athletic. I don't want to say that because he is an athletic big man, but there's a fly flying around in here.
Yeah.
Anyway,
if you saw me twitch, it landed on my arm. So
I think that that in that feud he didn't have an opportunity to show off his true skill set, and I think that this allows him to. So, opinion?
I think Miz will keep it.
I think Miz retains as well.
They need to set up a bigger feud.
I think
not just you're gonna fight him because you're the number one contender.
I don't see it being just here, give him the title. I think that they've had Miz hold the title this long. Miz will retain, and there will be a storyline that's built.
Mm-hmm.
The next match, as far as to me, in order of importance, would be the John Cena AJ Styles match. Opinions on this match?
I think it'll be actually a good match now that the club isn't there. So it'll actually be one-on-one with no interference at all. Cena can carry well. They're both similar age. They're both 38 or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you got Cena carrying younger talent and putting them over. It's veteran wrestler versus veteran wrestler. And AJ Styles wrestles like he's still 25.
Yeah.
So,
I think this is going to be a good match, and what we've seen, as much as I'm kind of done with the whole Cena AJ Styles, I'm kind of done with that feud, but at the same time, what I've seen out of it is a lot of Cena really expanding his moveset and expanding what he does in the ring and not really being Superman Cena. So I think Cena has always been able to go to an extent. He kind of relied on his power moves, and he was kind of star power that was just Superman Cena. That's kind of shifted. He's better in ring performance wise, and AJ Styles obviously is he's phenomenal.
Yeah,
he is incredibly talented. So I think we'll get a good match. How do you think it'll finish?
Here's how I want it to finish. I want AJ Styles to go for the phenomenal forearm. John Cena catch him in midair, attitude adjustment. That would be fantastic to see. That would be a good finish. That would be a holy shit moment.
Yep.
Because you never see that.
Yeah.
But,
And it's something I think that's probably in the wheelhouse of those two guys. They're both incredibly talented, and they've been around long enough that I could see the WWE greenlighting that.
I think John Cena is the bigger star for SmackDown right now. At least in the mind of Shane and Daniel Bryan. I think you have AJ Styles win, though.
I think it's a 50-50 split. On one side, I could see him having Cena get over just because he's Cena and it's that star. I could see them having AJ Styles get over so that AJ Styles can move on and work a program with the champion, which we'll get to that match in a couple. But yeah, it could go either way. And this is a match that, in the past, I'd be like, if Cena wins, God. You know what? Right now, it could go either way, and I don't really have a problem with it going either way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure where they're at in their feud. Usually they kind of book them 50-50. So I think that's probably going to weigh into it too. But however it ends, I think we win. I think we get a good match. Maybe not a 5-star match, but a 4-star match. Anything else on the Cena style? Okay.
I think it should end after that match, though. The feud.
Yeah, the feud needs to be done.
Yeah.
They need to move on. And where do you go with Cena? I don't know where Cena goes as far as who does he feud with next. However, AJ Styles, very easily, you just put him into a title picture.
Yeah.
Because that's where he's at. Moving on, the next match, Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton. To me, this match, this is, as much as, you have Cena and Styles, and they're both older guys. They're not old by any stretch of the imagination, and they both can go. But we're dealing with, they wrestle still. Both of them wrestle a lot like they're young. To me, this is kind of the old guard. And not that Brock Lesnar still isn't impressive in the ring, because he is amazing in the ring. And Randy Orton still can go. Yeah. But it really, to me, it kind of feels like an old guard match, and it's one of those matches that it almost feels like McMahon was like, we have to have this match on the SummerSlam card.
Yeah.
This big match between these two, prototype built guys.
I like that Orton's coming back and they're not immediately thrusting him into a title picture.
Yep.
Just because he's Randy Orton and he's,
I think that's
generation, whatever.
And Randy Orton he's impressive in the ring.
When Randy Orton is babyface and not heel, he's fantastic charisma. Like when he, RKO'd Brock Lesnar on Raw, he was just, living it up and he was promoting his shirt or whatever. And
yep.
I mean, it's fantastic because he was being himself.
Right.
So I mean, when he's a babyface being himself, it's good TV. I love the Raw versus SmackDown thing.
Yep.
That's here because Orton is on SmackDown and Lesnar's on Raw, and they both invaded. That
I think that was cool, and I was kind of let down in the manner that they had Brock invade.
Yeah.
What I kind of wanted was either a little bit more of a stealthy thing where, like, maybe Paul Heyman comes out on the stage and security shifts over there and then Lesnar comes through the crowd. Or Lesnar just comes through the crowd and just pounds his way through security.
Which I expected that, but they didn't show. They didn't even
Yep.
show him go through the security. It just went to the ring, Orton hit the RKO, and then Lesnar's there. I mean, show him at least breaking through the security, because you're just kind of...
Yeah, I think that ultimately, I think it could have been handled better, but I did like the fact, I like the way they're promoting the feud. I'm a little bit concerned about the match itself. Not because I don't think both guys can go. I mean, we know Brock can go. But with Randy Orton coming back from an injury, are we going to see, the Suplex City? Are we going to see Lesnar beating the crap out of him just this soon after an injury? That's where my concern is. Is that this match might be a little bit slow. It might be slow-paced. And it might not be as high impact as you'd expect from a match of this caliber.
Yeah, I don't see Orton taking a beating.
No.
Like, I mean, Roman Reigns can take a beating. John Cena can take a beating. Seth Rollins can take a beating because he can just get ragdolled. But I don't really think Randy Orton can take suplex after suplex after knee to the chest.
Well, it's one of those things of, thinking back to when we thought there might be this Wyatt family Brock Lesnar thing, like Luke Harper just getting chucked around the ring by Brock Lesnar, like, it was impressive. Mm-hmm. And Luke Harper took those bumps like a madman, and it was impressive. That was one of the most impressive things, and that's part of the reason why I'm a Luke Harper fan.
Yeah.
Is he took those bumps like hardcore. I don't see Randy Orton necessarily doing that. But it should be an okay match.
I mean, even seeing Randy Orton like ladder matches, like he was it WrestleMania? He was in a ladder match or whatever.
It was on a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, and he took some bumps on that, and I mean, it's not natural to see him take huge bumps like that.
Like, hey, it's tough to say. We'll see what happens. Who do you think comes out on top?
I think you have to give it to Lesnar, just because it's Lesnar. I mean, you don't just have him be like, I beat The Undertaker. I ended his streak at WrestleMania. I beat all these other people, and now Orton's coming in and he's going to beat me. It doesn't happen.
I agree. I think, in my opinion, I think that Lesnar wins this match. And you continue to build him up as the Beast, and you establish something really good for the next WrestleMania.
Yeah.
What maybe you establish a him and Baron Corbin type thing, where it's like Baron Corbin is this I hate Baron Corbin, by the by, anybody who's watching, but he's this unstoppable guy and blah blah, and you match him up with Brock down the road. That being said, I don't know that it's necessarily going to go there. My concern is that even though WWE came out and said, hey, there was these doping violations, but they weren't on our terms, are they going to punish him and book Orton on top? That's my only concern. Now, Brock has proven, or allegedly proven, that he's still a big piece, and he is. He's a big piece in the WWE. He's very important. And he proved it by helping the negotiations with Paul Heyman.
Yep.
We have no, as of right now, I haven't seen anything as far as what Heyman got out of it, but I'm sure that the debate was about money, and I'm sure that Heyman probably got the money he wanted, which he deserves.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. He is amazing. I've been a Heyman fan since the ECW days, but I heard that Lesnar kind of stepped in and said, hey, give him what he wants.
Well, yeah.
And he got what he wants. And Heyman is the best mouthpiece you can put on anybody. He's incredible in all aspects of the business side of wrestling. He's incredibly good, and I'm glad they re-signed him.
I am definitely a Paul Heyman guy.
Yeah, same here. But I think you book Lesnar to win, but who knows? I could see it go the other way.
Yeah, keep booking Lesnar to destroy everyone, and when you find that young talent that you want to build up as like the world destroyer, then have him face Lesnar and take him down.
And it's one of those things of you're dealing with Lesnar that it's not that like Lesnar's young, but because he's a part-timer, Lesnar could go for another 10 years.
Yeah.
He's in incredible shape, and he could easily go for another 10 years. But yeah, I think that it'll be a good match. It won't be great. It won't be my number one match, but it'll be good.
It definitely won't be Lesnar versus Ambrose in a
Oh yeah,
15-second squash match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it'll be better than that.
When the network just stops working.
When the network stops working because my internet connection goes crazy or whatever happens, and by the time we get the network back up, we have already missed the match. That's a bad Brock Lesnar match.
Yeah.
So moving forward, the last two matches I think are equally good. So I'm just going to hit it in the order I have here. Seth Rollins and Finn Balor for the awesomely named, it's such a horrible name, the Universal title.
Yeah.
Such a lame name. Come on, people.
As Daniel Bryan joked, the champion of the galaxy you will become. So.
But this is a match that you're putting two younger supers. The thing is once again we're dealing with young in WWE terms. We're not dealing with young because Finn Balor's been around for a long, long time, and Seth Rollins isn't all that young.
No, he's mid-20s.
He's late 20s, I think. He's 27, 28, something like that. But these are two guys who can go. They're definitely both incredibly talented in the ring. I think we could probably see a lot of kind of holy shit moments, like the Kevin Owens Sami Zayn feud brings. And you know, it's exciting to me to see two guys. I mean, granted, okay, Seth Rollins was in that championship role before, but you have two guys who both, in my opinion, deserve to be at that championship level, going for the title. It's two guys. Well, it's one guy who hasn't been there, in Finn Balor, and one guy who deserved to be there, in Seth Rollins. I don't know if this turns into a feud or not. It could. I could see them turning it into a feud.
One thing I read is that the Balor Club will reunite at the end of that main event on the pay-per-view.
That makes sense.
That's another rumored card, is the Club versus New Day. So they'll be there.
Yeah.
Especially if that match happens.
Yeah.
So they'll be there, but I don't know.
But yeah, how do you think it ends?
I think Seth Rollins gets it just because he's Seth Rollins.
I think Seth Rollins gets it because he has proven that he can be that public face.
Yep.
That he can go out and do the media work, and
It would
he
also
can be that guy.
It would also add a unique aspect of, he's obviously a Stephanie McMahon guy,
Yep.
the authority. However, Mick Foley is not. So, you know, you got Seth Rollins becoming the champion and being buddy-buddy with Stephanie McMahon, and then Mick Foley being the good, conscious, like, you know, this isn't the right thing.
One of the things that, this is just kind of what I was thinking is, and it could go either way, whoever comes out with the title, is if you have, you know, the Club, Finn Balor, you have that, maybe this is when they let Seth Rollins go back face.
Or that, yeah.
I could see it happening. And Seth Rollins is amazing as a face, especially since it allows him to use kind of his face moveset. You know, you don't let a heel do high-flying stuff. And I realize, yeah, he messed up his knee pretty bad, so maybe he's not going to be doing high-flying stuff like mad, but it allows him to open up that moveset and play. But on the flip side, you don't always, you know, like to have a face holding the title. It just doesn't work in the business.
Another telltale sign of the Balor Club forming is they killed the Balor Club in NXT.
Yep.
Like, they legitimately said it's done. However, at the start of his Titantron video, I don't know if it's still the Titantron, it still says Balor Club Worldwide.
Yeah.
If it's dead, why do you have it up there still, you know?
But yeah, either way, we're getting two guys on the main stage that both deserve to be there. And then to me, another match that I actually text Guy when this match was booked of like, I really want to see SummerSlam now. That being Dean Ambrose versus Dolph Ziggler for the WWE World Title. I am a big Ambrose fan. I'm a big Dolph Ziggler fan. This match, to me, I'm very excited for.
I like Ambrose. Ziggler, I don't know. I've liked him and not liked him. It's just given his gimmick, I guess.
Right. Well, I think one of the big things that sells me on Ziggler is the way he sells.
Yeah.
He's one of the best sellers. I mean, he's an Enzo Amore. Those guys that really can sell when they're taking a beating. Yeah, so I think that this match could be incredibly entertaining. I think it's going to be very telling as well. I could see, as far as an ending, I could see it going either way. I think I'm leaning towards Ambrose. I think Ambrose retains.
Yep.
I think if Ambrose retains easily, that it continues to be the Dolph Ziggler that just kind of just used and abused. But I think if they have it to be a competitive match and they keep him in a title picture, okay, that's reasonable.
I think what happens is I think Ambrose wins, but not easily. It'll be a really close, tight match. Ambrose will win. Ziggler will, get that whole "you're not good enough" thing, and then freak out and turn heel. I think that's a perfect opportunity for him to turn heel.
I think it's a good opportunity for him to turn heel too. And the thing is then you're going to have another heel that people cheer for.
Yeah.
That's one of the dangers in that. It makes sense for him to be heel because you don't have a whole lot of high-profile heels on the SmackDown roster.
Not really. Not even like Bray Wyatt would be your biggest heel star, and he's not even heel, really. I mean,
he's one of those heels that people cheer for.
Yeah.
So it could go either way, but I think Ambrose wins.
The only thing good about babyface versus babyface in a title match is it gets the crowd involved very heavily.
Right.
Like, much respect for both people, as opposed to I just want to see him beat the bad guy.
Right. Yeah. No, and I agree.
But
and they almost built a story in here, which is cool to me. They did the whole, Ziggler, you don't deserve this. And then he gets challenged by Bray Wyatt for a shot.
Which I was really hoping Bray Wyatt was going to win.
I understand why they didn't. I ultimately, as much as I'm not the Bray Wyatt fanboy that Guy is, but I do think Bray Wyatt's incredibly talented, and I think that sometimes his talent is squandered. But I would like to see Wyatt get the title I think there's so much opportunity for story for him moving and getting the title.
Mm-hmm.
The only other thing that just brings up in my head is maybe we see some Bray Wyatt interference or some Wyatt family interference in this match.
Yeah.
That opens up a Wyatt Ziggler feud, which I think that could be entertaining too.
Yeah. That the Wyatt Ambrose feud is definitely overplayed. So
Yep.
That was one reason why I was like, well, I want him to win, but it's overplayed with him versus Ambrose, but still, it's Bray Wyatt. He deserves a title shot at the very least.
I think from a fan response, he definitely does. That's everything that we have booked on SummerSlam. There's a lot of other stuff that's rumored out there, but we don't have anything confirmed.
Nope.
Overall, I think it's going to be a really good pay-per-view. It's worth watching. I'm definitely going to be sitting on the couch, watching this pay-per-view, enjoying it.
I'm going to try to.
He's going to watch it. I'm fixing his schedule. That being said, if you liked what we had to say, click the like button. Subscribe if you want to see more videos from us talking about wrestling or a myriad of other topics. And yeah, catch us the next time. There'll be another video. Hopefully Mark annotate it right down there, which is the second part of this, where we're just going to talk about some of the other stuff that's gone on since our last video moving forward. Thanks for watching.